The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Monday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com. Brought to you, as always, by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. I am Anthony Hartwig, as always, with you. We want to thank Greenwood Chevrolet for constantly being a sponsor of Running Point. Remember, they go the extra mile for you, so you don't have to. If you are in the market for a new or used vehicle, make sure to check out Greenwood Chevrolet. We thank them for their constant support of not just this show, but everything that we do at YSN. We couldn't do it without our wonderful sponsors. And that, of course, includes Greenwood Chevy. We have a big show for you today. We're going to recap a bunch of Class B action that happened over the weekend on Saturday and Sunday. We're going to go over the postseason awards that were announced over the weekend. We only have our MVPs left. Those are the only two that are yet to be announced. So keep tuned for our MVP of the 2023 baseball and softball season. But everything else has been announced. So we'll go over the rest of the postseason awards and much more. But first, let's dive into some Class B baseball. Friday night 18U was canceled because of the weather, unfortunately. So we're going to start with Saturday, and there was a full slate of 18U games on Saturday, as you can see there on your screen. We will start with where it kicked off in Ballistic Baseball and Whiting Roll-Offs, a close one. 10-9, Whiting gets the win. Let's look at some of the big players that showed up in this game. Whiting gets a big bottom of the sixth inning to really seal the deal, a 5-run spot there to win 10-9. Their offense was led by 4 RBIs from Matt Del Duca, 2 for 4 on the day with those 4 RBIs. Multiple RBI as well from Ben Miller, who went 1 for 3 with 3 runs scored and a walk as well. And then you have an RBI from Aiden Leindecker. We know how good he is. He went 1 for 3 with a walk. And then an RBI as well from Mike Del Duca. Matt Del Duca had the 4 RBIs. Mike Del Duca had 1 RBI on the day. He went 3 for 4, though, and scored a run. Ballistic Baseball got off to a strong start. Couldn't hold on, but their offense still plenty of production. 2 RBIs on a perfect day at the plate from Donovan Sullivan. 3 for 3 for him with a run scored. 2 RBIs as well from Brady Harmon. He went 3 for 4 with 3 runs scored in the pair of RBI. And then 2 RBI from Gabe Rusnak at the bottom there. 1 for 3, but the 2 ribbies there for him. 1 RBI from Tyler Cunningham. He went 1 for 2. And then a 2 for 2 day with an RBI for Lake Leonard as well. So a lot of offense, a lot of big bats, but Whiting Roll-Off gets the win 10-9 in the first game of the Saturday slate in 18U action. Next game on tap, Avalanche and Eagleware, and this was all Avalanche, 18-4. They get the win. Big bats for Avalanche, a lot of them but the 3 RBI day stands out the most from Jacob Maddox. We've called his name quite a bit so far in our Class B coverage. 2 for 4 day at the plate with the 3 ribbies. A 3 RBI day as well from DJ Donatelli. He went 1 for 4, but it was a big hit with 3 RBIs there collected as well. 2 RBI day from Nolan Reichard, who went 1 for 3 with those 2 RBI. And then Santino Piccarinelli went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs, a walk, and a run scored. Pitching for Avalanche wasn't too bad either, as Dennis Fiedel went 5 innings, gave up 4 runs, 2 of them earned. Only 2 hits on the day. He struck out 6 and went 100 pitches on the dot. So good day all around for Avalanche as they win against Eagleware 18-4. We'll see them again a little bit later as they played twice yesterday. But first, let's get to the Athletics playing Creekside. Creekside with the 1-run win, 5-4, the second 1-run game of the day on Saturday. And it was 4 runs in the first inning that really did the damage. Then you saw Athletics tied up in the 4th with a 4 spot. Creekside answered right away, took the lead for good with a run in the bottom. No one with multiple RBIs for Creekside, but a bunch of people that contributed 1. As Peyton Zupko went 1 for 3 with a run scored and an RBI. And then you have Logan Scranton going with 2 for 3 with an RBI. Jake Patterson went 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. And then Nick Magnifico, which I think is one of the best names to have for an athlete. He had an RBI as well. He went 1 for 3. For the Athletics, that big 4-run inning, their bats were led by Vinny Woods, who went 1 for 3 with that RBI. And then also Billy Skirpak, a name that we know really well. He had an RBI as well. Just 2 RBIs for the Athletics and their 4 runs scored. Pitching from Hank Schaefer was really good for Creekside. He went 5 innings, did give up 7 hits, but just 2 earned runs, struck out 1. And then Tyler McEwen, went 2 innings, gave up no earned runs, 2 hits, struck out 3. Not a bad day on the mound for Jack Liebheimer, who went 5 innings pitched, just gave up the 1 earned run, struck out 5 as well. So not a bad pitch game, and it was just that 1 run in the bottom of the 4th that did things in for Athletics and won the game for Creekside. Next up at the plate, Astro Falcons taking on Dura Edge, and it was a 9-3 Astro win as they stayed undefeated. And here's how they did it. No box score for that one. We'll just move to the next game. Boop, boop. Avalanche taking on Creekside in their second game of the day. And it was Creekside getting the win. So they are 2-0 on the Saturday, and their box score looked like this. Avalanche took the 3-1 lead in the second, but a 4 spot in the 4th was a big blow for Creekside. They also scored 1 in the second, 1 in the third, and 1 in the 6th. Creekside hits. Look at this offense from Tyler McEwen, who went 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs. What a day for him. An RBI from Peyton Zupko as he continued his big day. Ryan DeLulo also with a 3 for 3 day with an RBI. And then you had a 2 for 3 day from Owen Mandler, who was also had a walk, a run scored, an RBI, got a little bit of everything there. Jake Patterson with the stolen base. Nick Magnifico with the start in the mound. 7 innings pitched, gave up 3 earned runs, 5 hits, struck out 5, walked, 0 none. That's a big strikeout to walk ratio for Magnifico. Avalanche, their bats, they had a big day from Bennett Hayne, who went 1 for 3 with a run scored and 2 RBI. You see DJ Donatelli had a big day like he did in the first game for Avalanche. He got another RBI 1 for 2 in this one for their offense. Pitching was Richie Preston, who took the loss. 4 innings pitched. He gave up 6 earned runs, 11 hits, did strike out 4. DJ Donatelli pitched in relief with 2 innings pitched, gave up 1 earned run, struck out 1. So Creekside gets the win 7-3 over the Avalanche. In 18U action on Saturday, let's move on to the next game. We have Eagleware, taking on Dura Edge, and it was a 16-8 win as Dura Edge doubles up Eagleware in this one. Dura Edge had a big day right off the jump from Michael Gushura. 2 for 3 day, 2 runs scored, 3 RBI. 3 RBI day also from Blake Jeffrey. He was perfect at the plate, 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored. We also had Alex Eusebio, who did walk twice and knock in 2 RBI. Ethan Fiesel did the same thing. Both those guys, not a hit, but 2 ribbies on the day with 2 walks drawn. Eusebio scored 2 runs, Fiesel scored 1. We also had that was the end of the RBI, excuse me. Pitching was Parker Dobson. He got the win, 2 1/3 inning, gave up 3 earned runs on 6 hits, struck out 3. Jeffries and Devin Doherty also pitched. Jeffries went 1 1/3, gave up the 1 earned run on 1 hit, struck out 2. And Doherty went 1 inning, gave up 2 2/3 inning, gave up 1 hit, no earned runs, and struck out 3. We go to Eagleware, who did have some solid offense. 2 RBI day from Dallas Pugar. He went 1 for 2 on the day. 3 RBIs, 3 RBIs from the trio of Kevin Johnson, Zach Lavosky, and Gino Perry. They all had an RBI. Johnson was perfect at the plate, going 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored and 2 walks. Ben Barnes also added a hit, as well as Walter Sweeney, both going 1 for 3, and then Barnes going 1 for 4, 2 runs scored on the day. So Eagleware, pretty good offense compared to what they usually get, but Dura Edge still doubles them up 16-8. Next day, it was Prospects taking on Nightline. Nightline with another 1-run victory on the day, 4-3. They get it over the Prospects. Let's see how they did it. We won't see how they did it because there's no box score there for that one. We'll go to the next one. And it will be Astros and Whiting, 7-5. Astros get the win. Big day for the Astros as they go 2-0 on the Saturday and they stay undefeated. Athletics gets the loss over Prospects, 6-4. And we do have a box score for this one. Athletics had a 2-1 lead, a 3-1 lead, but a 5 spot in the fourth where the Prospects did the difference. As it was 2 RBIs from Carter Knupp, K-N-U-P-P, Knupp. 2 RBIs on the day, 1 for 3 at the plate. Nicky Lewis went perfect at the plate, 2 for 2 with an RBI. They also had an RBI from Grady Harbaugh, who went 1 for 2 with a run scored, as well as an RBI from Traynor Janusco, who went 1 for 3 with a run scored. Pitching was the name of the game for this one. Prospects got 3 pitchers involved, but it was Brett McSpartan. They got the win, going 4 innings, giving up 4 runs, striking out 4. Brendan Ray from Howland with a solid inning in relief, giving up no runs on 1 hit and striking out a hitter. For the Athletics, let's see what they did. They had 2 RBIs from Jack Leipenhammer, who had the 1 for 2 day with a walk as well. They also get RBIs from Gavin Falgren and Vinny Woods, who both went 1 hit. Falgren went 1 for 1 with a run scored in a 2 walk day. RBIs, that's it for the RBIs, but a 3-for-4 day for Johnny Brenner. Big day at the plate for him. Athletics pitching, it is Riley McElwain who got the loss. He gave up 6 runs on 8 hits in 5 innings pitched, but he did strike out 8 hitters and only walked 2. So that's a big day for him. Let's go to the next game on tap, and it is Ballistic and Nightline. Nightline getting the 6-0 win over Ballistic. And Nightline got some big offensive performances, especially from Andrew McRoberts from Lakeview. 2-for-3 day for him, 2 RBI on the day. And then Chance Lasco from Struthers, he was perfect, 1-for-1 with a run scored and a walk and an RBI as well. Caden Mafflet went 1-for-2 with a RBI. And then Ty Eberhardt went 2-for-3 with that run scored and an RBI as well for Nightline. But it was the pitching, the shutout for the Nightline, that got the big press as Freddie Bolchak went 7 innings, gave up no earned runs, of course, on 3 hits, struck out 9, and walked just 1. So a big day on the mound for him as Nightline gets the shutout victory to close out the Saturday 6-0 over Ballistic Baseball. But that's not the end of the 18U action. No. Let's go into Sunday. 5 games on Sunday the 18th yesterday. And let's see what happened on that day. We have Dura Edge taking on Whiting, and it was a 10-8 win for the Whiting Roll-Offs. As we see here, Whiting's offense continued to roll, and look at that, 6 different hitters with RBIs. They got one from Del Duca, they got one from Friedman, got one from Sevic. They get an RBI as well from Mike Del Duca. They get 2 RBIs from Nick Parado, who went 2-for-2 with 2 runs scored. So a big day on the offense for all those guys. And then for Dura Edge, no RBIs there, as they got shut out 10-0. Big pitching, which means Craig Nathan, 5 innings pitched, no earned runs, 2 hits, 7 strikeouts, and 2 walks. So a big day for Whiting. 10-0 the shutout over Dura Edge as they rebound from their loss to the Astro Falcons in the night before. We look at Eagleware. They dropped a 1-run affair to Athletics. They almost got the win, which would have been an upset for sure. But the Athletics are able to pull it out 8-7. No box score available for that game. We have Ballistic Baseball taking on the Avalanche, and it was Avalanche getting the win 4-2, the final score there. Let's see if we have something to show you there. We do. Avalanche and Ballistic tied at 1 after 1, and then it was the Avalanche with 1 run in the 3rd, 1 run in the 5th, 1 run in the 6th to put it away, 4-2. Just 1 RBI in the day for their offense, though. Jack Strausser got 1 there. Pitching-wise, it was Jacob Maddox that got the win. Gave up 2 earned runs in 6 innings and struck out 6 hitters. Cam Foy took the loss, 5 2/3 inning. Gave up just 2 earned runs, 5 hits, 7 strikeouts. So a well-pitched game on both ends, but Avalanche gets the win 4-2. We go to the next one, Nightline taking on Creekside Fitness, and this one, a lot of offense. So pitchers, shield your eyes. Not what you want to see as Nightline gets the 14-12 win for that one. Then we go into Astro Falcons beating Prospects 13-0. A shutout for the Astro Falcons. And that will cap off their day on Sunday. Since that caps off our scores, let's go into the standings in 18U. And the Astro Falcons still undefeated, running away with this division. 15-0 on the summer. They are now 3.5 games ahead of Whiting, who are 12-4. Ballistic 9-6. And then you have Nightline at 9-7. 8-8 Athletics, 7-9 Prospects. Creekside 6-9. Avalanche 6-10. And then you have Dura Edge 4-11 and Eagleware 2 and 14. If you thought that was it for Class B baseball, you are wrong, because we have the 16U division as well. Let's look and see what they were able to do on Saturday. 5 games on Saturday for them. And it looks like this. It was Athletics beating Prospects 5-3. And as we look at the big day for Athletics, 2 RBIs apiece from Dylan Simpson and Caden Clare. And then an RBI as well from Ty Wilson. Dylan Simpson went 2 for 3 with a walk, and then Clare went 1 for 2. So a big day for both of them as they both drive in 2. A lot of pitchers getting involved, but Dylan Simpson getting the win, 2 clean innings, striking out 4. But you also see Wilson, Clare, McFadden, and Cale Morowski all getting innings pitched. And as a whole, just giving up 7 hits, 2 earned runs. And as a whole, Athletics striking out 8 batters. Prospects, they got RBIs from Landon Brunstetter and then 1 from Will Hines. Pitching wasn't that bad. Evan Slavin, 2 2/3, gave up 1 earned run, 2 hits, and struck out 3. Anthony Battaglia only gave up 2 earned runs, did give up 8 hits, but 2 earned runs and struck out 1 hitter. So not a bad day pitching for Prospects, but they do get the loss 5-3. Whiting beats the Nightline team 9-2 in 16U action. We have a big offensive day for Nightline as they had an RBI. I'm sorry, from Whiting. As they had RBIs from Vinny Pizzulo and Christian Ancherok, both with 2 RBIs. Ancherok went 1 for 2 with a walk, and Pizzulo went 1 for 1 with a run scored. Also an RBI on a hitless day from Sam Patton, and an RBI on a 2 for 3 day for Devin Friedman. Tyler Hawk was perfect at the plate, going 2 for 2 with a run scored. Pitching wise, it was Ben Santangelo that got the win. 5 innings pitched, gave up no earned runs, and 4 hits. 4 strikeouts for him as well. Nightline didn't have too much offense, but they did get an RBI from Rocco Del Florio, and as well as an RBI from Freddie Bolchak, who had a good day for Nightline. But they do get the loss 9-2. 9 hits on 9 runs, 1 error for Whiting. A big day for them as they continue to stride to try to get the championship. Nightline gets the loss. They drop another game. Eagleware, they lose to the Astro Falcons 10-0. And as we look at the box score here, it is an RBI frenzy for the Astro Falcons. Zach Morris, 2 for 3 with a run scored. We also have Rowan Urbach going 2 for 2 with an RBI and 2 runs scored. A perfect day at the plate as well from Dom Polkovich, who went 1 for 1 with a run scored. RBI given out to Ty McCaskey. Didn't get a hit, but got a walk and an RBI. And then also Andrew Corfield getting an RBI on a 1 for 2 day with a run scored. Carson Clace pitches them to victory. 5 innings pitched, no runs given up, just 3 hits, striking out 5 and walking none. The pitching for the Astro Falcons in the 16U and 18U division, honestly, both nothing to be messed with. So then we go to Dura Edge taking on Avalanche, and Avalanche doubling them up with a 10-5 win in this one. As the Avalanche batters went and had a field day, 2 RBIs from David Moyer, but 3 RBIs from Joey Cadilla. 2 for 3 on the day with a run scored for him. For Moyer, it was a 1 for 3 day. They also had an RBI from Ivan Rudiak going 2 for 3 with 2 walks drawn and 2 runs in a run scored. How about this? Tanner Tarosky, 3 walks, 2 runs scored for him. RBI from a perfect day from Blake Rotman, who went 1 for 1 with a run scored and an RBI. Getting the win on the mound was Rocky Serafino. He went 3 innings, gave up 2 runs on 4 hits, struck out 3. Last but not least, for Saturday, Creekside Fitness gets the shutout of Ballistic, 12-0 here in Creekside. Let's start with their offense and the big day. 3 RBIs from Ryan Reese on a 2-for-4 day. 2 RBIs from Wyatt Burchell. He went 1-for-3 with a run scored. And then 2 RBIs as well from Thomas Gargas, who went 3-for-3, a perfect day with a walk, 2 runs scored for him. And then getting the shutout is Evan Zulak. He went 5 innings, gave up no runs on 5 hits, and struck out 4. So after the busy Saturday, 16U came back on Sunday with 10 games. So it was a busy day for 16U. And it was a 13-1 win for the Astro Falcons over Athletics on Scene 3. As the Astro Falcons had big days from Rowan Urbach, 4 RBIs for him, 3 RBIs for Anthony Treveri, and 2 RBIs from Dawson Wallace. Pitching for the Astro Falcons and getting the win was Jacob Hayes. No runs given up on 4 innings pitched, striking out 6. Big day for the Astro Falcons, 13-1 win over Athletics on Sunday. Go to the next one. It is Nightline falling to Ballistic Baseball in a high-scoring affair, 17-12, one of the highest ones that we've seen in a bit. Ballistic Baseball getting 4 RBIs from Michael Daly, 2 RBIs from Matthew Bobovnik, 2 RBIs from Isaiah Lance, 2 RBIs from Kyle Gibson, 1 RBI from Malachi Sweeney. So a lot of contributors to their offense. And then pitching wise, it was Owen Gazda going 3 2/3. Did give up 5 runs on 8 hits, but then he got some help from Kyle Gibson, 3 1/3, just 2 earned runs on 4 hits, striking out 4. So 17-12. Now let's look at Nightline's hitting because they had 12 runs. They deserve some shout outs. 2 RBIs from Grady Moore, 2 RBIs from Rocco Del Florio, and then 1 RBI on a 3-for-4 day from Anthony Wilbert for Nightline as well. A lot of offense in this game for both teams. Creekside Fitness taking on Dirt Edge, a 1-run win for Creekside, 8-7 the final score here. As we take a look, Creekside and Dirt Edge, no box score available there, so we'll move on to the next one. Prospects getting the win over Eagleware, 10-5 the final score here. And Prospects getting a lot of offense, but not a lot of RBIs. You see just 3 RBIs on the day, 1 for Will Hines, 1 for Will Carilla, and 1 for Evan Tuttle. But the rest of the runs are unearned, as 5 of the 10 runs were unearned for Eagleware. Pitching for Prospects, Zachary Zaboski got the win with 1 inning pitched, gave up no runs on no hits, and struck out 1. The one that pitched the most, Will Carilla and Dwan Reynolds, both went 2 innings. Reynolds giving up the 2 runs on 2 hits, and then Carilla giving up no runs on 2 hits, striking out a trio. So Prospects use multiple pitchers and get the win 10-5. Let's go to the next game on Saturday. And it was Whiting taking on Avalanche, 6-4. Whiting gets the win in this one on Scene 2. And big bats for Whiting. 2 RBIs from Pizzullo. We've said his name a lot. Friedman gets 1 RBI on a 1-for-3 day. And then an RBI apiece from Nicholas Heekins, Sam Patton, and Ben Yeckel, who each have an RBI, each having 1 hit. Heekins went 1-for-3. Patton and Yeckel both went 1-for-4. So a big day for Whiting. And then pitching-wise, getting the win was Heekins. He went 3 innings, gave up no runs on 3 hits, striking out 2. Joey Pugh also got 4 innings, gave up the 4 runs on 6 hits, and struck out 1. Next for 16U, Dura Edge and Ballistic. It was Dura Edge getting the 9-4 win in this one. Dura Edge had big bats with 2 RBIs from Nathan McGanahan, and then Nick Skrofinski with 2 RBIs as well. He went 1 for 4 with a run scored. Anthony Larson gets the win on the mound. 6 innings pitched, 3 earned runs on 6 hits, striking out 4. So Dura Edge gets the 9-4 victory over Ballistic Baseball. We have Athletics taking on Nightline, getting the 11-7 win. A lot of offense played in this one. Athletics, big bats from the 3 RBI day from Gavin Nagy. He went 2 for 2. The South Range stand out with a big day. 1 RBI apiece from Ty Wilson, Dylan Simpson, Owen Boone, and Luca Franzaglio, as well as Jonathan Adamson. They all had RBIs. And then Owen Boone pitched the team to victory with 4 innings pitched, giving up the 4 runs earned, and 9 hits, striking out 5. Some big Nightline bats as they scored 7 runs on 13 hits, actually out-hit Athletics. And they had RBIs, 2 of them from Anthony Rutland, an RBI from Freddie Bolchak, and an RBI from Rocco DeFlorio on the day. But look at the hits. 2 hits for Ross Harris, 2 hits for Grady Moore, 3 hits from Bolchak on a 3-for-4 day. It was Harris that got the loss. 4 innings pitched, gave up 9 runs on 7 hits. Next at the dish is going to be Whiting, 26-3 win over Eagleware. And no box score available for there. Maybe too much offense to even input from a 26-run put out. Avalanche and Creekside is Avalanche getting the 6-2 win on this day. And let's see, Avalanche with RBIs galore, as it was Malley and Mayhew getting RBIs as well as Serafino and Whippo. Landon Whippo, his name is first time we said it today. He went 2 for 3 with an RBI. And then down there at the bottom, it is Noah Filson, who gets the win on the mound. 6 innings pitched, no earned runs, 4 hits, 8 strikeouts for him on the big day for Avalanche. And then last but not least, the Astro Falcons beat the Prospects 10-0 to close out the 16U busy Sunday. There's no box score available for that one. With that being said, let's go and take a look at the 16U standings. Gotten a little bit of separation since the last time we looked, but still, 2 teams tied with 12-4. Astro Falcons with that half-game lead with the 12-3 record. But you can see the bottom a little bit thinned out. Whiting now 10-6. Athletics is now 8-7. Prospects 8-8. Durad 6-9. Nightline 5-11. Ballistic 3-13. Eagleware 2-13. So very interesting at the top, though. We still have a 3-team race in 16U, and really just a half game separates the 3 between the Astro Falcons, Avalanche, and Creekside Fitness. So where we see the 18U be kind of decided at this point, 16U is well on its way to being an interesting finish down the stretch. Even Whiting has a solid chance, just 2.5 games back with that 10-6 record. So say a 3-team race with a sleeper in the 4 spot for the 16U division. Before we end our Class B discussion, we're going to go back to 18U and look at the game schedule for tonight and see who's going to play and who you'll have calling the games tonight. Monday the 19th, we're going to have a 5-game slate. And you're going to see the Prospects take on Eagleware on Scene 3 at 5:30. Athletics and Ballistic both playing each other on Scene 1 at 5:45. And then Dura Edge taking on Creekside Fitness on Scene 2 at 5:45 as well. The nightcaps on the day, Whiting taking on Avalanche on Scene 3 at 8 o'clock. And then on Scene 1 at 8 o'clock, it is going to be Astro Falcons and Nightline. Let's take a look on who's going to be announcing the games for you today at Bob's Scene Park. As we go to our YSN Games at a Glance spreadsheet. And we see that today you're going to have Tim Corso on Scene 3 for those two games. Matt Marr is going to be on Scene 1. And then your Scene 2 game, which is Creekside and Dura Edge, that's going to be called by Ian O'Brien. So that's going to be who's taking care of you at Scene Park tonight. Going to be a big day of action as we have 5 games on tap and 3 announcers down there as our coverage of Class B baseball continues throughout the week. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the softball postseason awards being announced and much more on Running Point, brought to you as always by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney Tunnel.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
As fine as the eye can see, the finest hardwoods from the finest trees. Made for your home and within your means, Baird Brothers will help fulfill your dreams. Let life and light come shining through in quiet morns. And heavy traffic, too. Find your easy-to-afford fine hardwood floors and doors and more at BairdBrothers.com.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Locally owned and operated, Sheely's relaxed shopping experience means browsing and lounging is always encouraged.
Find Flex Deal and more at Sheely's Furniture and Appliance, because the best things in life happen at home.
How lucky are we to have not one, but two 18-hole Donald Ross Championship golf courses right here in our backyards. Mill Creek Golf Course was selected by Golf Week as one of America's 30 best municipal courses, continuing to challenge golfers of all levels and featuring golf instruction by PGA professionals, a state-of-the-art practice range, a PGA of America recognized pro shop, kids programs, and a relaxing grill room for a memorable golf experience. For more information or to schedule a tee time, visit millcreekmetroparks.org.
Fall is in the air. The kids are back to school, crowds are cheering for the home team, and Myers Family Insurance is prepped for another crazy Medicare season. Every year there's changes, some big, some small, so it's important to have a conversation to make sure your plan is going to meet your expectations for the coming year. Give our team a call today to schedule your annual review.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance or visit us on the web. Check us out online at MyersFamilyINS.com.
Going from mindful to mindful sometimes requires a helping, healing hand. Insight Clinical Counseling and Wellness offers a continuum of mental health and wellness care. At Insight, we're changing the way you receive counseling and wellness services with experienced licensed clinicians and expertly trained wellness staff. With 4 locations in Mahoning and Columbiana County, along with telehealth services, Insight offers clients quick access to care when they need it. Transform your mental health and wellness at Insight Clinical Counseling and Wellness.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you as always by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you so you don't have to. We try to do the same here on this show every single day, and we thank Greenwood Chevrolet for their constant support and sponsorship of not just Running Point, but everything we're able to do at YSN. Want to take this time while I have it to remind anybody out there that's listening that is interested in maybe becoming a sponsor. It's a perfect time to do it. We have plenty of summer coverage of Class B baseball, Little League baseball coming up at BCB. We have a lot of fun stuff in store for summer. But then, fall sports, we don't like that. We like to kind of avoid talking about it for a little bit, at least until our All-Star games are done. But it is right around the corner. Football, volleyball, soccer coming around really, really quick. We're hoping to get more and more golf coverage this year as well. So it's a time to shine if you're a sponsor that's in need of some marketing. Head over to ysnlive.com/advertise. And there you can check out all the packages we have and all the extra info that you can have there. Fill out a form. We would love to sponsor you and get the partnership with you. In my opinion, there's no better value for advertising than YSN. We're spread out to 62 schools now, from here all the way to Pepper Pike and Orange. I think that's the furthest one away that we have. We even dip into PA with Mohawk a little bit. So you get coverage everywhere. You get on every game, and we're having 20 games a night. Even like tonight, it's Class B baseball, five a night. And then Saturday, we have 15 on a Saturday because there's 10 18U and 5 16U, and then 15 more on a Sunday with 10 16U and 5 18U. All those games are on YSN, so your logo is going to be popping in on all of them. If you pay the extra for the commercial, got a commercial on all those games. Like we are getting names out there. Let me tell you that. So no better time to sponsor than right now, getting involved in the summer, getting your feet wet a little bit, and then diving into fall sports with us as we get ready for the month of August. Not too long away. But that being said, and that out of the way, let's talk about the postseason awards that we've announced over the weekend. Since we last talked, no show on Friday. So since we last talked, we have released Defensive Players of the Year, Offensive Players of the Year, Pitchers of the Year. The only thing left to decide and announce is our MVP, so stay tuned for that. But Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Pitcher of the Year, they're all announced. Let's start with Pitcher of the Year, Trent Newburn from United. What a stud. When we had conversation about Pitcher of the Year, there were a lot of names thrown around. Baseball pitching was very good in our area this year, very good in the YSN family. But when we saw what Trent did, especially through his tournament run, that last game especially, pushing South Range down to just extra innings, we were really impressed by his ability to kind of show off a little bit against the bigger teams. And then, of course, throughout the season, this kid was pitching really good. Sub-2 ERA, one of the best ERAs in the YSN family. Plenty of strikeouts, a couple of no-hitters. He did his job. He did his job every time on the floor, every time on the mound, I should say. And we were really impressed all season by Trent Newborn. And I am very excited that we're able to name him the YSN Pitcher of the Year for a team that probably doesn't get on the radar for a lot of other places. United is not talked about in baseball a lot. Everyone's talking about JFK and South Range and Fitch and obviously Canfield. They all get their just desserts, and they all should get a lot of praise. Really good baseball teams, really good talent. But, it's nice to see some under the radar kids getting some love, and Trent earned it. We didn't give it to him just because he was from a small school, but it's nice to see players like that succeed and really show the big guys what they can do. It's nice to see them go out and do what they're supposed to do. And Trent's done that every step of the way. He does everything the right way. He's a great competitor, and that's why he gets YSN's 2023 Pitcher of the Year in baseball. Softball, oh my gosh, was this a hard decision, right? We were laying down all these pitchers, laying down the stats. But at the end of the day, with so many awards to go around and so many players that were so well rounded, we thought Pitcher of the Year should go to someone who excels in pitching and brings pitching to an elite level, but then also, it's one of the things that they do almost exclusively. I know Melina Toth, who won the Pitcher of the Year, by the way. Melina Toth gets Softball Pitcher of the Year. She does bat. She does a really good job this year hitting. But, in years past, she wasn't in the lineup. Hitting is obviously not her first priority. Like, she's hitting because her team needs to, and she hits well. But you can tell in the circle that's where she's meant to be. So she gets Pitcher of the Year and just some stats. Sub 1 ERA. That's always impressive. 200 plus strikeouts, under 30 walks. I think she finished with, I don't have the updated stats from their state championship game, but I think she finished with 24 walks and 226 strikeouts, somewhere around that ballpark, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a huge strikeout to walk ratio, sub 1 ERA. Just what I was impressed by her this year, and I said it a couple of times, she had this different look in her eye. Like last year, she was a good pitcher, really good, did a lot of things right. Definitely one of the best pitchers in the area last year. Nothing to turn your nose up at. But she turned it up a notch her junior season. Like, she's found that dial. I don't know where she found it, but she turned it to 10. And this year, she was probably, if I had all the pitchers in the YSN family and I said, which one do you think, like, what does Melina Toth do better than all of them? And that's something to be said because, once again, we have a lot of really good pitchers in the YSN family. If someone asked me, what do you think Melina Toth does better than the other pitchers on this list? I would say command in the strike zone in every part of the zone. I saw Melina Toth pitch really well up in the zone in the game. I've seen her pitch really well low in the zone. She goes in, she goes out. She hits her spots with such precision that it makes calling pitches really quite easy. Quite frankly, you can really focus on the strategy. A lot of pitchers, even if they're high level velocity or they're high level, one part of the zone, if you see a hitter, okay, they're struggling high in the zone, but my pitcher doesn't have good command up there, so what do? You almost have to cater your pitch calling to what your pitcher is good at this level. But with Melina Toth, being able to pitch anywhere in the zone, that makes calling pitches pretty dang, I don't want to say easy because it's never easy, but it makes it easy to focus on just the strategy of what's this hitter doing, where's the holes in her swing, and how do I attack it? Because if you tell Melina Toth, hey, we need to attack the, high outside corner, she can do that. You tell her, hey, we need to go low and in on this girl because she can't get around those bitches. Then Melina Toth can go low and in. And that's what I saw from her this year consistently, being able to hit every spot in the zone with precision most of the time. That's why she didn't walk a lot of people, because she just had precision command. So I think that was one of the most impressive things I saw from Melina Toth this season, getting Pitcher of the Year. Her command in every spot of the zone absolutely deserves YSN's 2023 Pitcher of the Year. Let's transition into Offensive Player of the Year this year. Got a lot of feedback for this one and a lot of offensive numbers on the softball side of things. This is one of the easier ones. When you have a player, Gabby Gradishar, who hits 18 home runs, 46 RBI, and hits at an average over 600, that's just like, hey, lock it in, put it down. That's your Offensive Player of the Year. The only person that came close to her in home runs was Abby DeJoy. We saw we saw them both go at it in the home run battle throughout the season. Obviously, Gradishar plays in a couple more games with a deep tournament run, gets a couple more home runs. Abby DeJoy finished with 14 home runs. Great season by her. She's going to be an honorable mention, and she's one of the players that I wanted to give a shout out to, is in the conversation for Offensive Player of the Year. But no one touched her in home runs. Her average was so high, 643, I think, somewhere around there. I had it written down earlier. In the 600s, well in the 600s. She actually didn't lead her team in RBIs though. That's impressive because that team can swing the bat really well. Abigail Metters had 50 plus RBIs, so I can't say that she had the most RBIs in the Ysn family. But without a doubt, the most home runs. And then when you add home runs to her big average, usually the name of the game is if you have a high average, you're not going to hit a lot of power. Not the case for Gradishar. She hit for power. She hit for average. Well-rounded bat. She pitches really well too. And I'll tell you, when we go into the next 2 years, and we have Gabby Gradishar going, Sydney Watts going, Melena Toth going, I mean, it's going to be really hard to decipher who's going to get Pitcher of the Year, who's going to get Offensive Player of the Year, MVP. These names are thrown around, and when you're trying to find differences between them, it's like splitting hairs, right? Especially like when they've all played each other. We saw Gradishar versus Watts. We saw Watts versus Toth. Like all these big names, Stakowitz in the circle, Suzanne in the circle. Obviously, Isabella O'Brien in the circle did a wonderful job in McDonald. Some other offensive players, man, Ayla Ray and her offense, best two-strike hitter I think in the whole state. Like I haven't seen a better two-strike pitcher in high school softball in a long, long time. But the end of all the conversation, we couldn't ignore the big home run number. We definitely couldn't ignore the RBI number and the average number, all bundled together into one big offensive bat for Gabby Gradishar. And what I think is brilliant by Coach Weaver, she was also the leadoff hitter. You know, obviously leadoff hitters aren't usually known for their power, but man, you're pitching to Gabby Gradishar right off the bat. You better be locked in. So Gabby Gradishar wins the Offensive Player of the Year for softball. Baseball was such a high contested conversation that we had to give it to two people. So Gino Lazzari from Lakeview, who is just a stud hitting. His average is what got him this. I mean, his average is above none. It's been like that throughout his whole career. Kind of longevity was one of the things we talked about with him too. Like we've seen him hit for high average again and again and again, whether it be in the in Class B baseball, whether it be in the high school season, whether it be in the years past of his career. Like we know Gino Lazzari can go and just hit for average and get a lot of base hits when you need him to. So that's one of the things that we thought about Gino Lazzari, just his ability to consistently be a strong piece of the lineup. And almost, I was trying to look for game by game stats. I didn't find too many games where Gino Lazzari went hitless. Like he was, even if he had a quote unquote bad day at the plate, maybe like a 1-for-4 day, he was very hard to keep off the base pass. So I couldn't find too many games where Gino Lazzari went hitless, which is, I think, one of the biggest arguments for him. Absolutely. But then we went with someone else because we had to have co-offensive player of the year. This is way too much to try to pick apart. AJ Havrilla for Canfield. I do have his numbers right in front of me. I want to show them, get them up for you, so you know how awesome of a season AJ had for Canfield. So AJ Havrilla led Canfield in average. He hit 431. You see this. He had 5 doubles, 1 triple, 21 RBI, 23 runs scored. This is one of the big ones, though. One of the big ones. I really like disciplined hitters that can hit for average, but also if a pitcher's wild and not pitching you strikes, absolutely can hold their water and take their walks. 24 walks drawn by AJ Havrilla. Didn't find too many players with more walks than that this season. And I know walks aren't the flashy stat, but in my mind, from a baseball mind, from someone that likes hitting, if you can get on base like that, again, hit for average, that's going to make your on base percentage pretty high. And to that point, AJ Havrilla's on base percentage. Excuse me. His on base percentage is 130 points higher than his average at a 561 on base percentage. That tells you, AJ Havrilla knows how to get on base, which is the name of the game in baseball, get on base. And he does it well. He has plenty of RBIs to contend in this category. He leads the team in average. And like I said, on base percentage was one of the tipping points for me in this conversation. One of the arguments that I had for AJ Havrilla was his ability to get on base, whether it be by the walk or by the hit. He's good at both. And I think he is well deserving of Offensive Player of the Year in baseball. So then we go to Defensive Player of the Year before we shut down the show. We have plenty of time to do it, and we go to softball. Just like baseball's Offensive Player of the Year, we had to split softball because we love catchers. We love giving the catchers, and Kelly Zolik was among the best catchers in the YSN family. We had a lot of good ones, and trying to pick out the best catcher was a conversation. I'll say that for the least. But one of the things that won me over for Kelly Zolik, and I'm trying to give, tipping points because it was almost like, I don't want to use the same analogy, but it really was almost like splitting hairs trying to pick these players with a lot of talent on the field. Kelly Zolik had 180 innings caught. 180. Like, South Range used almost all of their regular season games that OHSA lets you have. And Kelly Zolik caught almost all of them. So 180 innings caught. That's tough enough. No errors. Zero. Zip. Zup. None. No errors at all in 180 innings. That's ridiculous. And then in 180 innings, 0 errors, only 2 pass balls. So not only are you not making errors, but you're also a rock behind the plate. And then you also throw out 6 base runners stealing. Not a lot of people try to run on South Range, but if you did, more times than not, the Polish cannon was gonna get you. So just an amazing catcher. It didn't hurt that she got All Ohio for the second year in a row, first team All Ohio as a catcher for South Range. It was just, it wasn't a no-brainer. I'm not trying to say it was a no-brainer because we had other really good catchers. McKenna Hogan had a great season at Fitch. One of the statistical best catchers in Division I when you look at her statistics. Fielding percentage-wise, I believe the best catcher in Division I with a 997 fielding percentage. She threw out 6 runners as well. So she was a great catcher to have. Then Annie Warzela is a great catcher from Champion. We have a lot of Max Stowe, who was in the running not just for Freshman of the Year, but I think was also in the conversation for Catcher of the Year. She put together a lot of good catching stats as well. So just really, really good catching in the area. But Kelly Zolik, it's hard to argue the longevity of the season, 180 innings. It's also hard to argue 0 errors, and it's really hard to argue 2-time first-team All-State. So congratulations to Zolik. But then we saw someone on the field that just passed the eye test every time we saw them, made amazing plays. Seemed like every game we had on the network. Ayla Ray from Austintown Fitch. I think she's our best shortstop. We have a lot of good shortstops. Like, I'm talking about the catching. Look at Bella Meyer from Champion going D1, playing for YSU in a couple of years. We have Kaylee Selly from Western Reserve. Oh my gosh, talk about Gold Glove plays. Big plays for Kaylee Selly. We have a lot of good shortstops, but Ayla Ray's the best. Ayla Ray is the one that makes all the plays, makes them look routine, gets to the ball, reads it so well, charges. I love aggressive shortstops that will charge the ball. Can't stress that enough to young infielders. You can't sit back and wait. She charges. She's in aggressive mode. She's always moving. She talks a lot, which is great because she communicates really well as a middle infielder. Just love everything about Ayla Ray's defense, and I wanted to make sure she got a shout out for that because a lot of people talk about her offense, rightfully so. Ayla Ray's got a great bat. Best 2-strike hitter that I've ever seen in high school. But her defense is really, really good too. So, co-defensive player of the year for Ayla Ray. And then for baseball, we went with Poland's catcher, Chris Denny, getting defensive player of the year for baseball. And his catching numbers kind of under the radar, but man, were they good. Let's pull them up for you. Chris Denny had a fielding percentage. I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong stat. Chris Denny had a fielding percentage of 1,000 as a catcher, which is really impressive. He had 98 total chances behind the plate. His catching stats, he has caught 75 innings for the Bulldogs this year. He has caught 5 runners stealing, and he has only allowed 5 passed balls this year as a catcher as well. So put up really good catching numbers. We love our backstops. We want to make sure they get their love. And from all the numbers we could find, Chris Denny had the best stats, and you can't argue the numbers sometimes. So Chris Denny, you are the YSN Defensive Player of the Year for baseball in 2023. Congratulations to all the people we just talked about. Pitcher of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. It was a very tough decision. I expect it will continue to be tough decisions the next couple of years with the baseball and softball young talent that we have in this area. And then, just stay tuned for MVP coming up a little bit soon. I should say soon on our social media accounts. You don't want to miss who we throw out as the 2023 softball and baseball MVPs. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Tomorrow we also have an interview to play for you guys. It's going to be with Kaylee Luckland, the one of the coaches, one of the assistant coaches at South Range. She was also voted as the faculty member with the most school spirit. So what we're going to talk about with her, I should say, what you're going to hear us talk about with her is how important it is for faculty members to go a little bit beyond the classroom and show their students they care about them and they're supporting them. And she does it whether you're an athlete, whether you're in speech and debate, whether you're at the play. She makes sure that she's there supporting her students. And she's also a coach. So we talked plenty of sports. We definitely did, as this is a sports show. But we also talked to her about just the importance of a faculty member proving to these student athletes and students in general that they care about them and they want them to succeed outside of the classroom. So that's going to be a great interview. We're going to play it for you tomorrow on the show on Running Point from 1 to 2 tomorrow. We'll be back, and we hope you enjoy the night 5 Class B games on the network at Bobseen Park. But if you can, go out there and watch. It's a beautiful night for baseball. Should be pretty on the cool side of the summer. I think it's going to be a low of, maybe by game time, especially those late games, maybe in the 70s, which is nice for a summer night. So make sure to get out to Bobseen Park and check out some Class B baseball. If you can't, ysnlive.com/live is where you can find all of our broadcasts. Until tomorrow, 1 to 2, we'll see you